This is Meltdown Live, presented by MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag for double your initial deposit. You sign on to make a deposit, they double it with code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag.
Welcome into this fun Friday edition of The Meltdown. So happy to have you here with us each and every day, but especially on a fun Friday. I am Tim Melton. We appreciate all of our loyal Meltdonians being here with us. We appreciate all of those who have been in support of the show all week long, as the live show is indeed back, and we are thrilled about that aspect of The Meltdown. I couldn't do this without a guy that's been putting in everything he possibly can to the channel and its growth, and that is Mr. Tyler Johns. Tyler, how are you doing on this Friday?
I'm good, Tim. I'm good. I got to see a movie that was getting a lot of buzz lately for being potentially the best animated feature of the year. So,
Something about a snail, if I'm
yeah,
not mistaken.
it's an Australian claymation stop motion animation film called Memoir of a Snail.
Were there other human beings in this screening?
There were two, I
Okay,
believe.
okay. Just wanted to say that's an upgrade.
That is an increase from the typical amount of people in my showings.
I don't know what percentage increase that is, but it's a lot.
It is a lot.
And is this a movie that you feel like is in competition for best animated feature?
Definitely in competition. I don't see it winning because it's just very, very depressing. It's loosely based on the director's real life, and you just see the experiences of this Australian girl just having every bad thing that could possibly happen to a person happen, and you just see their trauma.
I saw your out of the theater reaction, and you talk about how depressing of a film it is.
Yes.
And then you're like, this is very sad. I don't know about this one. 4 stars. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess if you're into depressing content, this is the one
Yeah,
for you.
I mean, if you're into that kind of movie, it's
Yeah.
for you. Or if you just want to see a very, very well crafted claymation film, the stop motion animation has a special place in my heart with movies like Nightmare Before Christmas and Coraline.
I just saw Nightmare Before Christmas in its re-release in October. Took the little one to see that, and it still holds up so well after
Oh, it's
all
so
these
good.
years. And you have multiple movies I believe you're seeing over the next potentially 24 hours?
Oh, I've got a ton this weekend. So last night I saw Memoir of a Snail. Tonight I'm seeing Heretic. If I don't see it tonight, I'll see it tomorrow, and that'll be Anora. That's been getting a lot of buzz for Best Picture. I'm not sure if I want a double feature today or not. Sunday, yeah, that gets us to Sunday. I'll be seeing an early access event for the movie Red One. I'll be seeing The Rock and Chris Evans rescue Santa Claus when he gets kidnapped. And then Monday, I've got a special event for it's a premiere of Dragon Ball Daima, the new series in the Dragon Ball franchise.
And within all that, we got to get caught up on the Penguin as well. So
Yeah, I've got to find the time.
I'll be watching Heretic tomorrow, and we'll have our review of that film starring Hugh Grant as a man that looks like he's into trapping young door-to-door missionaries in his home, and we'll see how that turns out.
See, the weird thing about Heretic is every time I watch the trailer, I
Yeah.
think about something that is probably the polar opposite of this movie, and it's Pokemon. There's a there's one part where you're going through a building and you have to select different doors based on how you believe your Pokemon should be raised. It's like, do you go through the strength door? Do you go through the honor door?
Okay. Well, I won't be watching it that way, but I'm glad to hear that there is that correlation, and we will see from Coraline to correlation there of what we have, and we'll have our full review on Monday, and I'm looking forward to seeing if we both like it. What you got for us in the chat there early on?
Charles says, I want to live Tyler's life of seeing every movie. No, you don't. No, you
No,
don't.
it's really
I'm doing my job to let you guys know what's not worth seeing and what you should actually go see.
it is a blessing and a curse, for
Yes.
sure. All right, I want to get to this little piece of information before we bring in our special studio guest. We have a way sometimes of talking things into existence here on the Meltdown. We have a history of that. Yesterday we were talking about Macaulay Culkin. Did you see Macaulay
Saw the
Culkin
news.
has joined
Season 2 of Fallout.
Season 2 of Fallout. I love this casting addition, and I'm looking very forward to seeing exactly what role he plays in all of this. But you know the Fallout universe well. If there's one type of character, one sort of prototype of character that you'd like to see Macaulay Culkin be assigned to, one role, is there one that jumps to mind?
Definitely a villain. Definitely a sort of a vault tech
Yeah.
executive type, trying to control the apocalypse. I think he would play that very well, and it also gives his character the opportunity to have sort of a lair, maybe a high rise, a fortress, and load it up with some booby traps.
One of the things that I've really enjoyed watching this year was Fallout Season 1. And
Mhm.
for those that maybe haven't watched it and you're looking for something to binge, go on Prime, check it out. I really, really enjoyed it, and I was not necessarily expecting to. So check that out. I think Season 2 is going to be a banger. All right, let's get to our special guest here in studio. That is the one, the only Taylor Korn, social media director here at Disrupt Media. Taylor, how are you doing? Running on fumes? It's a Friday.
It's a Friday.
Normally by then we're all somewhat exhausted,
Yeah.
and I'm curious how your energy level is on this day.
We've had a lot going on. As you know, around here for I guess how many months have passed is July. Since media days, I feel like you get back and you hit the ground running. So it's been hectic, but hectic is good in this world.
Hectic is good in this world, and I want to talk a little bit more about this world. You have your own channel, Uncorked,
Yes.
and you have brand new content coming out. Another mailbag here very
Yes.
soon.
Yes, this weekend before Monday. I have had to go on a little bit of a hiatus because I've been all over the place.
I don't think people fully understand, and this is not a complaint. This is not a poor, pitiful me. We're going to get into how thankful we are in just a second. Okay. So
Okay.
that's not what this is.
Thanksgiving preview.
But a large portion of these positions we're in is time management and
Yeah.
what it is that you're putting your focus towards, and then trying to execute that while maybe knowing what you're going to next after that, creating a line of work that you can go through. And that's why I've gotten behind on the Penguin, because it has not been able to fit into my queue of time management things as we have sort of rebuilt this brand, rebuilt the studio, and gotten the gang back together. So happy you're a part of it today, and I appreciate that very much. But we're going to get into a little bit more of your time management here in just a second. But Taylor, if there's one thing people should know about you, and this is my opinion, I think it's validated by almost everybody, is that you truly love your job.
I do.
As do I. Tyler does as well. Tyler wouldn't once again go see 100 movies this year if he didn't love what he did. But you found your dream job, I think, a lot quicker than most people do. And you're very aware that you found the position you love right out of college here. And there's a lot of people, I'm sure, in your circle. I know there's a lot of people in my circle that didn't necessarily follow their passions, their dreams, what it is that they wanted to do. Maybe they had to take a detour, or maybe they just felt it was safer to take a detour. What is your message to maybe even some of our younger listeners and viewers on really following what it is that you're passionate about and what you want to do in life? Because I feel like that's a subject that you can provide some insight on.
Yeah, I am very thankful to my parents because when graduation was drawing near, my senior year at Auburn, I told them, I said, guys, I'm not just going to go start applying for jobs so that I have one when I graduate. And
How did they handle that?
they were a little proud, I think,
Oh,
because
okay.
I said I want to find something that I don't wake up and dread doing every day. So
I
I
know,
don't want to.
I know a lot of people who took the first thing that they could get their
Right.
hands on, and they're just absolutely miserable.
Right, exactly, and I was like, "I don't wanna apply for something just because of the salary, I don't wanna apply for something just because it seems like I can get the job, and then,
You feel
you're
stuck
not." Right.
immediately.
Yeah, and you're not enjoying it, and so they said, "Okay," and I am very grateful that I did that because I think that I was told by Reed that I would be hired. I don't know what the correct terminology is there. A
Onboarded.
couple yeah, like 2 days before yeah, onboarded.
Yeah.
A couple days, maybe 24 hours before my graduation. which I'm grateful for because he was actually at my graduation because I lived with his niece. So if he would have told me, "Hey, we're moving on," 24 hours later, he's standing in the kitchen of our house, like,
That would have been
"Good to
awkward.
see you." Yeah, but so I waited. I didn't let the stress of I'm graduating and I have to find a job right now get to me. And again, my parents were supportive of that, which I think is a big part of it. And that was I think that's important because like you said, when you get stuck doing something, taking the first job offer that you get, it might not and maybe the first job offer that you get is something that you're passionate about and you like, but I think being interested in and excited about your career path is so important because this is what we spend the majority of our time doing as grown adults.
Okay, let's pull back the curtain a little bit. I know you're never afraid to do that.
No,
So
never.
we're going to pull back the curtain a little bit.
Okay.
You've probably watched more of the next round than any human on the face of the earth. Would that's safe to say? Even the guys that are in there in the studio every single day, you've watched more of the show than they have.
I think I might have. Forrester, I
Absolutely.
think Forrester,
Forrester's been
he's
taking a lot of time off lately.
he
You've surpassed him.
okay. I mean, I give him
A lot of time off. Dude took like 2 days.
I know, but I was the
Like
one that
2
had to fill in,
days.
so I've been keeping track of how much Forrester's been out.
okay.
This isn't a shot at Forrester. We're
No.
gonna have him on the show. It's gonna be
Yeah,
awesome.
we love Forrester. But
Tyler feels like he has to defend his next round brethren. I'm not taking shots.
No,
Yeah, that's
but
because the dude's an absolute workhorse.
He is.
he is. But yeah, I mean, I think that I'm close to the top because I mean, they're there in in the studio, obviously
Yeah.
living it. But I do go back and rewatch a lot to pull stuff. So
Wh-
yes, I think that I have consumed I don't know how many hours of the show, a lot of hours.
I'll throw this out there as a disclaimer because I can tell Tyler he's ready to take this to an official vote. More disrupt media content has been consumed by Taylor overall throughout her life, I would say.
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that. What makes a good viral clip in your opinion? Or what is a moment where you perk up and you're like, "Ooh, this is something that is going to have some legs to it."
A
That's the
strong
curtain.
opinion.
Strong
A
opinion.
strong opinion. It's not the wishy-washy, I think they're gonna win the game, but and then 5 disclaimers after. It's this is what's gonna happen. For example, I was looking back at our TikTok, at the next round TikTok, probably an hour ago, and I was trying to find something, and I was showing Reed actually. I said, "See this?" I said, "This is," I cannot remember what I was looking for, but it was a video from the show, and Dunaway said, "Is there a more basically overconfident fan base and coaching staff in the country than the one that resides in Boulder, Colorado?" That was before this season. They obviously had a reason to be confident because they're playing well. But stuff like that, and he was passionate about it. He was like, "This is what I believe, and this is what I think is true, and I'm not gonna hide it."
Right.
So, and then of course anything controversial. Well, controversial in the sense of sports, not we're not towing the line of controversy in a way that's gonna really
Hopefully.
upset anyone.
Hopefully. If there was one identifiable character trait that many have labeled you with, it's being a diehard Auburn fan.
Ooh.
Have you made peace at all with how this year is trending for the Tigers?
I try to be a glass half full kind of girl. And
That's tough when your glass has been shattered by this year's
yeah,
team.
there is no glass.
There is no glass anymore.
But
There's just a puddle.
Yeah.
right. The puddle is me after a game.
Yeah.
But the way that I will take the deepest dive into analytics just to find the silver lining. I'm like, but guys, look at this, which at the end of the day doesn't really matter because our record is atrocious. But I've started basketball, I think is gonna help because I think we should be good. But
I think I've heard that a couple years now in a
I
row.
I don't want to can the season. I think what's keeping me afloat in my Auburn fandom is the young guys are the ones that have that killer mentality. I think, and I'm not saying that the older guys on the roster are, bad people by any means, but I don't think they're the ones that are gonna, really.
So you feel like very passionately that change is on the horizon when it comes to Auburn. Obviously, we've heard about the recruiting class
Yep.
coming in, and I just wonder how much more patience the Auburn fan base can have because it feels like that program's been in hibernation now for a hot minute.
Right. And the stat of the records comparing, Brian Harson's 2 years or a little under 2 years to Hugh Freeze's first 2 years is getting, that's floating around on the internet. And I mean, it's valid. It's true. But the thing is Brian Harsin wasn't going to Auburn High
Hmm.
to watch highly sought after recruits play on a Friday night. I'm like, brother, it's 5 minutes down the road. Get your ass in the car and go. Go. What is stopping you? Like, go. And Hugh Freeze is recruiting. So he is giving us reason to have hope. And the commits, if you listen to the commits talk, there is so much confidence in the, I guess, sales pitch that they're getting. And after the games, because after the losses, I just turn around because where I sit when I'm shooting the game is right in front of where the recruits sit. And half the time I'm just like, good Lord, please, guys, please. I want to turn around and give them a pep talk. But what I hear from people that are around the recruiting lounge and stuff after the game is what they're paying attention to isn't necessarily what we're paying attention to. What they're paying attention to is how many young guys are making plays.
Yeah.
Like if you look across the landscape of the SEC, how many true freshmen are getting meaningful snaps?
But it is very difficult for anybody to really put a lot of stock into the future when the present is so grim. I mean,
Right.
the Vanderbilt game was not a pretty one for the Auburn fan
It
base or the
wasn't.
Auburn Tigers. And that fight that you said that this team shows, they showed it more after the game itself than they
Yeah.
did, it feels like,
I was
during the
almost
game.
involved in that too. I was like, the video, I have to get the video.
So you were right there in the dog pile of it all with the verbal back and forth.
Yeah. Well, it started. So I could kind of feel it coming on because immediately after the game ended, I was like, Diego Pavia. That's who,
Yeah.
because that's gonna be what gets the click. So I have my eye on him. I have my camera out and ready to roll. And one of his teammates comes up and starts, he's 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, whatever they say, some things that I'm not gonna repeat. And this is 15, 20 seconds after the game ends. So the Auburn players are still on the field and they are not, I'm not talking about the Auburn players running their mouths. The Vanderbilt players were running their mouths, rightfully so. You just walked in and beat, a program that is, no one's expecting you to beat them. You haven't beat them a ton ever,
You're
really.
Vanderbilt
And
and they're not, and Vanderbilt's always been looked at as losing to the team
yeah,
that's not Vanderbilt, and that's not been the case this year. And props to
right,
Vanderbilt for correcting things.
right. And so they're, I'm not going to say anything negative about them running their mouths. They had every right to do so. But when you do that and the opposing team is still on the field and it's their home field, I feel like that's kind of.
So it feels like your footage went everywhere. Am I right about that?
Yeah,
I mean,
give
I
us
saw,
credit or I will call you out so fast.
we know. Please don't hurt the camera. I feel like you're going to hurt the camera. You're going to get up and choke the camera to death.
No, I'll defend it. Quit stealing content, you lazy bums.
I got it, Tyler. Tyler just is defending the entire team today in a very
People
passionate
keep
way.
stealing our content, Tim.
I got you,
Yeah.
Tyler. I'm not
Quit.
telling you for less passion. I worry about your blood pressure sometimes. Okay,
That's fair.
look, that was your footage that I saw all over my feed.
Yeah,
And it was everywhere. Everybody picked it up and everything. That gets on your nerves.
it does.
It's something that you're very transparent about, how frustrated you are by that. Let's talk a little bit more about you in this position. There are so many younger people who, when they talk about the one thing they want to achieve in life, they want to be famous or they want to be a public figure
Mm.
or they want to be noticed every time they step out and go somewhere. What do you find to be some of the pros and cons of being a public figure? Because you do draw a lot of attention, whether you want to or not, on certain days. And I know that there's a lot of people that when Auburn do well, the first thing they think of is you. And when Auburn does poorly, the first thing they think of is
Yeah,
you.
a lot more of them.
Probably so. And you draw a lot of attention. So how do you, I mean, is it a sort of double-edged sword or how are you handling that public presence that you have to within this role that you're in?
It's obviously a new thing because when I graduated and started working, that was never I didn't come into this industry wanting to be a star. I wasn't like my goal at the end of the day is to be on a major TV network.
Right.
Like I'm a behind the scenes girl. I come in, I sit down at my desk, I get my iPad out and I'm tweeting and I'm making graphics and stuff like that. And I enjoy doing that so much. And I'm not being on camera isn't a new thing now, but that's not what I really
Was never part
expected.
of the plan or the intention. You didn't have the
No.
drive that so many others had. You just sort of stumbled into it
Right.
in a way where it's become part of your your day to day now. It's be camera ready all the time, be ready to jump on with an opinion or be called into the Meltdown studio and
Yeah.
looked here to talk about all of this. But do you think that, once again, with so many different younger professionals wanting spotlight, do you
Yeah.
think that they're fully understanding of what that brings,
No.
positives and negatives?
No. I don't think that you can understand it until you're in it because it's I always think about people that are noticed. For example, in the state of Alabama, Nick Saban. The man is not gonna leave his house without someone stopping him, someone asking for a picture and stuff, but then you also have to think about after losses, which, like, he didn't do much of that, but there's people that are gonna love you no matter what you say, no matter what you do, and then there's people that are gonna hate you no matter what you say or what you do. So, if you're one of the people that reads the comments and stuff like that, and you have thin skin, not for you. I mean, you have but you also have to realize that a lot of the people that have negative things to say about anyone that opens themselves up, because when you go on camera, you open yourself up to that. So you
Absolutely.
can't, you can't be offended. Why are they being mean to me? Like, that's part of it. It comes with it. But the majority of those people are either under a name of, Bama Boy 2017
Right.
or some screen name with no profile picture and there's no way to find out who they are. Or if you stumbled upon them in the grocery store,
It's
silence.
going to
They're
be a
not going to
very
say
different
anything.
experience for sure.
Right. So you can't pay attention to it. That's easier said than done because you're gonna see it sometimes, but then again, you have to think of it. And Brown says this all the time. He says, "Don't pay it," or oh gosh, I'm gonna butcher this, but he basically says, "Don't pay attention to the things that people say if you wouldn't take advice from them."
That's pretty spot on. Yeah.
I don't know if that's not how he phrases it, a lot more poetically than that. But it's basically if you wouldn't go to someone to ask, "Hey, what should I do in this situation?" Then when they have consistent criticism of everything you say and do, why listen? Because there are just gonna be people that don't
You
care
know,
for you no matter what.
and all of that, once again, easier said than done
Right.
because there are so many people, especially in this profession, that want to do as good of a job as they can for the audience. And sometimes they come up short. Sometimes we come up short. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. There's technical issues, or
Yeah.
maybe you've muted your mic within the first 3 minutes of coming back here after 2 months of hiatus.
After a
Sorry,
2 month hiatus, mics are muted.
some self deprecation. But um, yeah, I think preparing for that until you've lived it, it can be a very difficult thing to sort of wrap your head around exactly how much you want it when you are in the comment section being absolutely trolled.
Yep.
This year for Halloween,
Mhm.
your costume up here at TNR. For those that maybe missed it, who did you dress up as
I
for
dressed
Halloween?
I dressed up as Jim Dunaway.
hmm You two seem to work really well together on air, especially. And because you're so opposite in so many different aspects of your lives, can you pull back the curtain just a bit and tell us what it's like traveling long distances with Jim Dunaway?
So, it honestly depends on the day. Um, I can sleep anywhere. I I'm narcoleptic, so that obviously plays into it. So, for example, when we drove to Dallas, it was me, Forrester Brown, Dunaway, and EG in a large vehicle, and they just put me all the way in the back seat. I had a pillow, I had a blanket, I closed my eyes, and I slept the whole 9 hours. But if I'm not asleep, it depends what kinda day you're catching him on. But the good thing about Dunaway and I's relationship is that I'm no stranger to saying, "Hey, you know, shut up." Like, we're
Very blunt with one another.
Yes, which is a great
Yeah,
thing because when I need him to stop talking to me,
yeah,
I'm like, "Hey, I'm trying to do something." It's like I don't ever really get that frustrated because I'm able to express, "Hey,
yeah.
whatever." And Dunaway never I mean, I don't know how he feels about traveling with me, honestly. Whenever we get in the car, he's like, "You can sleep if you want." And I'm like, "I think that's because you don't wanna talk for the next 4 hours." But, like,
Well, he said
That's
yesterday.
100%
yeah.
what it is. He doesn't want to talk, but he also hates awkward silence.
Right, so and I'm fine with awkward silence, like, or
I'm good with it too.
not even awkward silence, but I'm like, if I'm working, if I'm trying to do stuff and we're sitting in the car together, we don't have to talk, but I think he feels like he always needs to, which I get, but I think it kind of gives him peace of mind when I'm asleep in the passenger seat. He's probably like, "Okay, whew, deep breath." But
So Dunaway said, he was
yeah.
asked the question, I think it was by Tyler, what's your biggest driving pet peeve?
Yeah.
And he said, literally anyone else in the car with me.
Yeah, and I was in
And
the
you were the first person I thought of because y'all do a lot of miles together across this state.
well, the night prior, we did a 4-hour round trip.
Okay, yeah, that's another reason maybe I was thinking.
And on Monday, and then 2 weekends ago, it was to Knoxville and back in one day and a whole game. But
Maybe
yeah.
he meant anybody but you.
Oh, well, he walked into my office right after that segment, the next commercial break. He was like, "I really hope that I wasn't talking about you." I was like, "I mean, whether you were talking about me or not doesn't matter because we're still gonna be in the car together next week."
That is exactly correct. I mean, you do a good job of documenting a lot of the car rides and
Yeah.
stuff, but I mean, to really have like 24/7 access to you guys in this building together and in that car together and what that is, it's going to be tough to ever truly capture that.
Well, what we started doing last season was, especially on the way home from Auburn games, because that's a 2-hour drive, and we would get in the car on the way home after I'd finished sending all my stuff out, whatnot, and we would just prop the phone up on the dashboard, and we would do an Instagram Live the entire ride home, and if there were questions in the chat, we would answer them. If not, we would just drive as normal, and there was some bickering on there, and so that's probably we're gonna start doing that again as well. Whenever we travel together on the way home, we'll just do a live Instagram stream and
I love the
interact.
trends. I
What
love
what is the bickering about, if I can ask? Is it a lot of backseat driving?
No, I don't backseat
Well,
drive.
I wasn't talking about from you.
No, I don't drive ever. Dunaway always drives.
Okay.
He self-admittedly is that did I say
Yeah,
that?
we'll
that
go
works.
with it.
That works.
Okay. Self-admittedly, if that's how you say that,
Yeah.
is a horrible backseat driver. He's one of the ones where it's like the car is outside the building, that side of the wall, but you're not braking yet. And he's like, and he'll say that. He said it to me the other day when we were about to leave. He was like, I always want to drive right. And I'm like, yeah, because you would bitch at me the entire, sorry.
You can say that.
The entire time that we were doing, he's like, yeah, because he's one of the ones that's the entire ride. But
Yeah.
I'm fine with it because I can sleep when I want. I can.
Usually there's a handle up in the top right. Does he grab that bad boy?
Oh,
No, because
That's
I'd never
that's a
drive
bad
with him in
sign.
the car
Okay.
ever. But the bickering, to answer your question, is he knows better than a lot of people how to push my buttons, and he does it purposely to get a rise.
Oh, well, yeah.
And I need to learn how to not do that. That's
Take the bait or
right. But half the time I'm just like,
Yeah.
why? Why are you doing this right now? And he'll just chuckle.
So we have Samuel in the chat that says, Taylor, is Jim still a Zach Bryan fan?
No, he actually told me this morning. I don't know if this is public information or not, but so I might be breaking some news here.
Oh.
What?
He
He loves Zach Bryan. What's
Oh.
happened? I know the whole
okay. So
chicken fry issue, but
yes. So last night
Oh.
he listened to the podcast when Bree did her kind of tell-all story time about what went down between she and Zach. And Dunaway listened, and we were talking about it after Bud Light game night. And so I told him, I said, I'm going to go home and listen to it because it released last night. And he came in this morning and was like, did you listen to it? And I said, yes, I did. That is so crazy, whatever. And he said, I deleted all of his music off of my phone. So no, he does not approve of the behavior. And Zach Bryan lost a fan in Jim Dunaway.
I am less surprised by the public breakup than I am the private one that we just heard about with Jim Dunaway breaking up with Zach Bryan
Yeah.
because he was a diehard.
He
I mean,
was. He loved him. Loved him.
Yeah, obsessed.
Yeah.
So if that's true, which I'm going to believe it is,
Yeah.
but if that's true, do you think since then and now he's snuck in another Zach Bryan song somehow? It's like, I just got to have one more hit.
I mean, he's driving to Louisiana.
Yeah.
So I
He'll
don't
be
know.
thinking about
Maybe
it
he's listening to this right now, or I don't know if he's leaving today, but he's driving at some point. He's going to be in the car for a long time. So if he didn't go through his playlist well enough, all 55 of them for
Yeah.
all of his different situations that he's in, then he might have missed one and it might pop up. And I would love to see how he reacts if he's put in that situation.
I'm going to ask you about music that you consume here in just a few moments, but you brought up that you can sleep anywhere.
Yeah.
I, as a 7-foot giant, cannot just sleep anywhere comfortably.
Yeah.
But there is one place where I find myself trying to fight back, dozing off, and that is in the dentist chair at Alabama Dental Associates. It's so relaxing in there, and I'm at such ease, and they do such a good job with my teeth that I don't even feel anything, and I want to fall asleep. I can fit in the chair at Alabama Dental
That's
Associates.
impressive.
That is a very impressive
Man,
thing.
that seems like a comfy chair for me.
It would be a very comfy chair for you, Tyler, and a very comfy chair for our audience. They're at Alabama Dental Associates, located on Grants Mill Road. Dr. Jeff, Dr. Brian, Dr. Nolan, over at Alabama Dental Associates, they'll take care of you with the professional care that you'd expect. Go ahead and get on that cleaning schedule. I know a lot of people during the COVID times, they said, you know what, I'm going to have to drop my dental visits, and maybe, who knows, you don't have a dentist currently. If you have some sort of toothache that pops up, think of Alabama Dental Associates. They can help you. They're accepting new patients now and can make sure you feel at ease about all of your upcoming dental procedures. For more information or to make an appointment, call them at 205 956 8977, or you can visit alabamadental.com, where they look forward to seeing you. One thing I'm going to have to do before I go back to Alabama Dental, though, is shave, because I look ridiculous. I hate my beard. I actually had a guy I was playing poker Wednesday night. We don't see each other very often, and I hadn't seen him in 2 months, and he looked at me, "Hey man, really like the beard. That's awesome." And I was like, "I hate it. I feel like such a fraud in this thing, because
Why?
this is just apathy. This isn't like I was going for a style or something.
Yeah.
This is, I've had multiple appointments canceled that I haven't been able to take care of this thing, because I'm very loyal. I'm a very loyal person,
Uh-huh.
and there's only one person I really want to go to get this taken care of. But I'm now going to maybe have to look at other options, because I got to get this thing off of my face."
I still think you should go full Duck
You
Dynasty
think?
with it. Yeah. What are your opinions on that, Taylor?
Well, I think that if it was actually winter, it's November and it's 85 degrees out, I'm
That's
just
fair.
thinking that it would be more or less unenjoyable if it wasn't 85 degrees out,
Yeah,
because I'm sure that's not cooling you off by any means. So,
it's awful. I feel like I get looked at differently, but in negative ways. I scare people in our office building constantly just by walking
I,
down the hall, not on purpose. Like, the elevators will open, they'll walk out, and I had one woman that works across the hall. She screamed at the top of her lungs like bloody murder just
Why?
seeing me.
I
Sh
think that might just be your height, man.
It's a mixture of both.
I mean,
I think it's
you scared me.
No, I think it's height, and I look like a Sasquatch, which is another depressing thing, because we talked about Halloween costumes a few minutes ago.
Uh-huh.
I was trying to find a Sasquatch costume.
You could have been the Jack Link
I
Sasquatch.
was trying. All of them ran too small for me.
Oh, no.
You
You're gonna have
realize
to get
how,
it custom made.
like, that's so sad. You want to dress up as a Sasquatch for Halloween, but the Sasquatch costume doesn't fit.
Yeah, that's an issue. They need to fix that. That's a them problem.
I agree. So in order for me to really participate in Halloween full out, I got to drop a lot of dough to find something that's going
Yeah.
to, like,
You gotta get a custom
fit.
costume.
Yeah, I mean, I can't find regular people clothes off the rack, much less Halloween costumes.
Yeah,
So
that's hard.
how was it Warehouse 31
Yeah,
where we scared Jim?
yeah,
How was that costume process?
very snug. I
Oh,
was in
okay.
Scrubs, which gives you a little bit more wiggle
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
room.
yeah.
I played a demented doctor. They called me Dr. Hightower, which was another height thing.
I know a Hightower, or someone with a real last name Hightower.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Is it
Okay.
Dante?
Nope.
Are they a doctor?
Okay.
Nope.
Okay. Well, I played Dr. Hightower, and I would scare people, but I was in Scrubs. But, like, if people knew my full range of mobility to where I would split my clothes in half if I was to, like, really come after them,
Yeah.
they would not have been as scared, because I'd be like, "Oh," but I was like, I couldn't go
Stuck.
anymore, or else I turn into Lou Ferrigno's Hulk at that point. So we don't want to go down that road. Okay. You're Italian.
Yes.
I'm Italian. I like Chef Boyardee and SpaghettiOs. My
Uh-huh.
mom makes Italian food. It's really supposedly lovely. I don't really like it, but I'll eat the SpaghettiOs and the Chef Boyardee, and it disgraces her and her heritage very much, and
Oh,
she
no.
hates me for it. So my question to you is, what is your favorite Italian dish? And do you like Italian food?
Okay, yes. I have this dish that my mom makes, and it's called spatini, but I don't know if it's a real thing
That's a
or
made-up thing.
okay.
No, it probably is a real thing. I've just never
I
heard.
don't know.
Spatini.
Yes. I don't know if it's Italian either, but it's just my mom and my grandma are the only people, like, I don't know if I've ever been able to find it at a restaurant. And mom's family is where the Italian is from.
Mhm.
And so I just assume that it's Italian because my grandmother is the one that has the recipe. It's basically steak and it's really thinly sliced and it's it's a very long process to make because
Yeah.
my mom only makes it on special occasions or if I beg for long enough. And then you put breadcrumbs on it, I think, or something. And then there's some special cheese that you put in the middle and then you roll it up. So it's
I have found a recipe for spaghetti.
okay. Is it what I described?
Yep.
Yes, yes. That's what it looks like. And it's so delicious. My mom makes the best fettuccine in town.
Okay.
I probably should have pulled this up on my computer so I could have it on stream, but
Well,
it's
you're
like a
good.
fried beef kebab.
It's so good.
It's the
But
best fettuccine
apparently,
I've ever seen.
yes. And apparently it's really hard to make. So I'm very grateful for whenever my mom makes it. So that's my favorite, if that's even Italian. I really like fettuccine Alfredo. I like meatballs. I love meatballs.
What's your thoughts on
And
Olive Garden?
I haven't been in a while.
Okay.
I couldn't really tell you the last. I don't have anything against it.
They built one in my hometown of
Okay.
Gardendale, Alabama, and I was on air on a radio station at the time, and I really love Olive Garden. I
Uh-huh.
do. And I kept going on every day saying, I want to cut the ribbon when they open up the Olive Garden. I want to be the one. Please pick me to cut the ribbon.
Did you do it?
The mayor's office called me.
Uh-uh.
I'm not kidding. The mayor's office called me and said, "We want you to come to the ribbon cutting ceremony." And I was like, I was going to get to the point of, can I be the one that cuts the ribbon?
Yeah.
Even though I've done zero work other than posting to
What's this
a
guy?
bunch of Facebook message boards saying, "Please, when are we getting Olive Garden?" But I couldn't attend the ribbon cutting
No.
ceremony because I had an event that I could not get out of.
Yeah.
Like it was just not even an option, and it just happened to be on the exact same day at the exact same time. And this was an event that was very personal that I could not get out of, and I could not go to the ribbon cutting ceremony. And I have not heard back from the mayor's office since, even though they've opened multiple locations of other things. And I want to, at some point, cut the ribbon of some opening, but it won't be as special as it would have been if it had been the Olive Garden in Gardendale.
Well,
How
you
many
know,
times have you been to that Olive Garden
I've been to
now?
that Olive Garden a dozen times now.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, yeah.
okay. I was just checking to see. It's like I want this Olive Garden. It needs to be here now,
Yeah,
and it's
no.
like I haven't gotten the time to
No.
go there yet.
Tyler, you hit on a soft spot here because every time I walk in there, all I can think of is I should have been the one to cut the
cut
ribbon
the.
of this place.
You know what we could do? We could go back. Tyler and I could stand on both sides of the door and we could hold a ribbon and you could cut it.
Oh yeah, that'd be good content.
Really?
Yeah, I would be happy to do
We'll
that
make your
for
dream
you.
come true, Tim.
Yeah. Just speak it into existence.
I'm glad that the beard will soak up the tears I'm about to have because that's maybe the nicest thing that's ever been said to me in this room.
Well,
And I will.
I just offered Tyler up for the other side. But if Tyler
We
can't
need
make
two
it,
people to hold the
I'll
ribbon.
hold
We'll
both
hold
sides
both
of the
ends.
ribbon.
I accidentally jab you tomorrow with the scissors, and it's like I go to prison for murder, and it's like it all started right here. As it wouldn't
Yeah.
happen anyway. We won't get into that. Okay, Taylor, you've been pretty public throughout the course of your on-air time about fighting with sleep struggles for a good portion of your life.
Yes.
How do you currently sleep at this stage of your life? Have things rapidly improved in that department?
Rapid, no. I spent about 3 years at the doctor's office, it seemed like, because no one could figure out what was wrong with me. And that was when I was in Auburn, which was unfortunate because it was Auburn, Birmingham, that week after week after week, which isn't great when you're just trying to have a good time in college,
and it
right?
has to be pretty scary, right?
Yeah, my parents, it made them more nervous than it made me because it's just that became my normal. I was like, I feel awful every day and I can't sleep at night, so this is just what life is like. But it scared my parents more once we found out that I had sleep apnea to begin with because they were like, "What is going on? She's in Auburn and we can't even, if something happens, how do we know?" And so I went through a lot of years of doctor's appointments and then I had surgery, which didn't really work. I'm not going to give you my whole medical record right now because we'd be here for days, but I had a surgery. They screwed or they sutured my tongue to the bottom of my jaw. I don't know. It's a whole thing. It was not fun. It ended up not working. But now I have a hypoglossal nerve stimulator in my chest and I have a little remote control that I turn on and off when I sleep. greatest invention ever. I used to wear a CPAP machine, but we didn't get along very well, and it made me claustrophobic. It just it wasn't for me.
I'm going to interrupt you by saying I'm glad I shared my trauma of the Olive Garden ribbon cutting first, because your situation right here, I don't think it would have worked in reverse. Like, oh, you think that's
Yeah.
bad?
No, but I mean, it is what it is. Like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
I just
But
wonder if Ush, now that he's on like a city council, if he could possibly get me to a ribbon cutting
yes,
somewhere.
yes,
I feel like we can hook that up really
Sorry.
easy now.
So you ended up cutting off the sleep apnea machine. You said, no thanks, don't want that to be my
Yeah.
life.
well, and it was hard too because for all of you CPAP users out there, you have to have distilled water. You have to clean it with vinegar and all this stuff. And I'm a college student at this time, so it's on the weekends. I'm traveling. I'm going all over the place, and it was not. It was just hard for me. And my parents also felt bad because they were like, "What this girl? Like you're so young. You're gonna have to do this for the rest of your life." And I just was having a very hard time sleeping with it. So I got that. I said goodbye, adios, and I got this machine now that I love.
This terrifies me, by the way.
It terrified me too. That's why I got the first surgery because I was like, you are not putting any sort of machine in my body. Then when that didn't work, they're like, it helped a little, but it didn't work all the way. So you're still gonna have to use that CPAP machine. I was like, nope, next. Just
Oh,
tell
man.
me what the other give me the menu and let me pick something else out because I'm
Yeah.
not doing this. And so then I got that fixed, and then that was just the afterwards process. You got to do a bunch of stuff afterwards. And then I found out that I also have narcolepsy, so I can't sleep at night and I can't stay awake during the day.
I mean, you got a double dose of just
Yeah. But
absolute BS.
yeah, I think that I'm a medical phenomenon at the Sleep Disorder Center of Alabama. They were very confused by what was happening to me, but it's all I mean, I have it handled now. It's not gone. Obviously, it'll never go away, but we've got it under wraps and I'm making it.
Is there did this come out of the blue, or is there some sort of family history of this? I don't
No.
want once again, this is just something that just
No history.
you have to
That's
figure
what
out the hard way.
Yeah, well, that's why my parents were so confused about what was wrong with me. They're like, "Something's wrong with our kid, but we don't know what."
Yeah.
And they didn't know because no one in my family has it. So they had a hard time guiding me to help, to medical help because they didn't know what was happening. It makes my mom really sad, but it's not her fault.
Well, how do you handle airports with your like device? And
Oh
is that a fair
gosh.
question to ask?
Yes, it is so fair
It's
and it is
okay.
so
I've
awful.
just got a device on my chest.
Well, so I have a card on that I am supposed to keep on me at all times. In my
You have it on you right now?
I mean, no, and that's the thing. I'm like, it's shoved in my wallet.
Yeah,
They're not
okay.
going to go through my wallet and
Yeah.
through all the junk
I
in
don't
my
know why I
purse.
keep
And
grabbing my clavicle, by the
yeah,
way. I keep grabbing mine.
wait, I have. I will bring show and tell next time I'm in here because they actually gave me a thing. I have a device. It doesn't have a battery in it or anything, but they gave me one that it's the same exact thing that's in here, but I just have one at home.
Mm,
So I can bring it for show and tell one day. But airports, I can't go through, so I can't be near large magnets, so like MRIs and stuff like that. So I can't go through the metal detectors at places that have them.
yeah.
For example, the airport. So I have this card that I'm supposed to show them and say, "Hey, I have a medically implanted device. I have to get patted down." And it's awful because every time that I do it, they turn around. The line might be 3 miles long, and they turn around and they go, "Female opt out, female." And I'm like, "I'm not opting out. I can't do it." And then I have to stand there forever. Takes forever for someone to come help me.
Oh, man.
I get patted down. But the worst time was because at first I just wouldn't do it. And my mom was like, "Taylor, you have to not like just tell them." And I'm like, "It's such a hassle, it's such a pain, it takes forever." But she was like, You're not supposed to do that. Like, what are you doing?" And so it was senior year spring break, and we went to Punta Cana. And
I'm convinced you just said a word you can't say now on the air, but anyway, there we go. I'm making that up. That
I'm
just
sure we'll
sounded
hear
bad.
it when we have Lance on to review Gladiator.
Correct. That's a great line. Tyler deserves more credit. If you're in the chat, give Tyler some round of applause for that one. Anyway, please continue, Taylor.
um I'm distracted.
Sorry.
So when we were leaving, it's in the Dominican Republic. So they were not English speaking security people at the security line. So me trying to explain hypoglossal nerve stimulator to the non-English speaking employee of the airport
There was a little bit of
was
a barrier there.
a little bit. And then I was like, pacemaker. Because I'm like, I'll just tell them they got to know what this is. No, blank stares. And I was like, I was like under my breath, Mom, I'm sorry. And I was like, never mind, I'm fine. And I just went through. I was like,
Oh
I'm
my
going to be
gosh.
stuck in
Oh.
the Dominican
No, don't
Republic.
do that. Next time go Terminator. I'm the Terminator. And
Yeah.
Terminator.
Yeah.
I
so,
probably wouldn't say that in an airport.
Don't say that.
I don't know.
I think
yeah.
that would get you some respect.
So-
Well, I hate that you've gone through all that and you continue to sort of battle through it, but I know that you're handling it seems like in stride with like
Yeah.
this is just your normal.
It is my normal, and I'm here to tell the story. So
Yeah, you're very transparent about it. I think that anybody else who's going through this, they're very few and far between, but
like the 5 of you out there.
you could be those 5 people's hero by sharing your story. Thank you for opening up with all of this, but keep us posted
I
on how that's
will.
going. Okay, your music tastes.
Uh-huh.
What's on your personal playlist? What's like towards the top? Are you someone who listens to all types of music, or do you have one genre that you typically gravitate towards?
I listen to all types of music. I like rap music. I like country music. I think it depends on the time of year. If it's summertime and I'm at the lake or on a boat or something, then I kind of like to listen to like 80s or 90s music. I think that's because I've grown up being on a boat with my dad and that's what he listens to, but I like it. So I guess it depends on the mood, kind of. It depends on if I'm excited. Am I headed to a party? Then I'm gonna listen to some rap music, I guess.
What what's your stance on Christmas music?
Um, I don't have a strong opinion. I mean, I'm not counting down the days till they start, or I guess I don't really listen to the radio, but I don't anxiously await the
Okay.
appropriate time to
They put
play
on
Christmas
Christmas
music.
music yesterday, officially, here in the
Where? On the
Birmingham
radio?
area on the radio. And I was like, no thanks. And
Well,
I sampled it and I've not stopped listening to Christmas music ever since. And I'm addicted to Christmas music right now. And I don't know why. I think it's something internally. It makes me feel whole again. I don't know what it
yeah.
is.
I mean, I think it's jolly, but this all goes back to the weather. It's 85 degrees out. So I don't even know what
Yeah.
to do.
It's really weird for me too, of just how warm it is and how much I'm enjoying listening to it. It's
Yeah.
crazy. But I'm thinking, hear me out.
Mhm.
I'm thinking I could be one of Santa's helpers. I think I
Yes.
keep growing this thing out and I go full mall personnel.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, I think mall Santas are going to be in hot demand here very soon.
Okay. I don't remember if I ever participated in that as a kid. I mean, my parents may have taken us. I don't know. Or maybe there was a Santa in the neighborhood or something. But last year at the Music City Bowl in Nashville, I was covering it on my own. And so it was just me in Nashville. And I have friends that live there. So I was staying with my friends and whatnot. It was a lot colder than I expected it to. Or no. I'm lying. This was not in that. Where was maybe it was in Nashville.
It was in Nashville.
Okay. So I think that I'm mixing up 2 stories, but whatever. I was somewhere doing something for work by myself. And so it was a lot colder than I expected it to be there. So I did not pack the proper attire at all. So after the press conferences or whatever was happening that day, I was like, I need to go get a jacket. I'm going to get hypothermia tomorrow. So I need to go get some warmer clothes. And there was a Santa Claus at the mall. And I was like, I think that it would be so funny if just me in the city, went and got a photo with Santa to send back. And I walked down there and it was like $60. So my point of this story, I did not do it. My point of this story is that you could probably make some decent money being a mall Santa because apparently it is very pricey to get your photo taken with Santa in the mall now.
Do you think there's a demand for 7-foot tall Santas?
Yes. Because then you would be like larger than life. You're Santa and I can't even believe you're here.
Man, if I'm on Monday, have a completely white beard, you know
Yeah.
why? 'Cause
Yeah.
I've decided to join the North Pole Squad.
I would support it too.
I'm thinking about it. I'm
I
thinking about it. Am I costing myself tons of money by getting rid of this thing on my face?
Yes, that is an opportunity that I don't
Be
think
in
that
the
you should pass
sequel to
up.
Red One. You could be J.K. Simmons' bodyguard.
That's correct. Terrifier 3.5, baby. Okay, I want to ask this question as well.
Okay.
What junk food is your favorite?
Ooh, all of it. Okay, so are we talking
Let's say
like
this.
dessert or
Let's say
snack?
the Learning Channel, which is also known as TLC.
Yep.
Not a lot of learning going on that channel, but let's say TLC is filming this is a weird way I'm about to put this. They're filming people who have junk food addictions that
Mhm.
gain a large amount of weight in a short amount of time. I'm not saying that's going to happen to you.
Yeah,
But
but
I'm
like it
saying
could.
if for some reason you end up on that show,
Yeah.
what was the junk food item that propelled you to being also a mall Santa?
I I love chips. I'm a big chip girl. Jolly Ranchers, I typically have a large family size pack on me,
What's
either
the
in my
best color?
backpack. Blue.
Yes, that's the right
I
answer.
actually ate one. I was eating one about an hour ago probably, and I was like, "Why did I pick blue? My mouth is gonna be completely blue when I come in here to do this." I like Jolly Ranchers. I like ice cream every now and then. What else? There are these really good cookies that so one of my roommates in college has celiac had us, or I guess she still has it, but she was my roommate, celiac disease. And so she couldn't eat gluten, like very not like I'm not gonna eat gluten, like no.
Right.
She's
Yeah,
throwing up all night
it's
if
an
she
alert
eats gluten.
allergy.
And she had these so when we would make meals as a house as roommates, we have to figure out what she can eat. But you can basically buy everything gluten free now. And there are these cookies. They're break and bake, like whatever all those brands are that you just get in the cold section at the grocery store. But they're gluten free and they're the tastiest cookies ever. I still buy them. And so I like those a lot. I like a cookie and ice cream, like a half baked cookie. Um, I really don't dislike any candy or
I,
any junk food.
I'm able to tell that now based off the passionate response that you've given.
Yeah.
But I don't think I see you eating a ton of junk food. I see EG eating a ton of candy.
My
I mean, a
so
ton of candy.
Every day. She was eating a bag of Nerds gummy clusters in the hall like an hour ago.
And if you saw her Halloween costume, that's basically cannibalism.
it
Yeah,
is. It
it's true.
is. I typically I'll eat either on my way in or right when I get here before the show starts, and then I snack throughout the day. Like I'll sometimes bring like I brought pizza for lunch today. I had leftover Domino's. But I rarely pack like a put together lunch of an entree and sides, like
Yeah.
a sandwich and whatever great things my mom used to pack me when I was a kid. So I typically just eat snacks throughout the day, and then I'll eat when I get home another snack, and then I'll eat dinner. So I basically eat breakfast, dinner, and then crap all day. Just like snack on stuff in there.
Out of context, that
The
sounds
phrasing.
Yeah.
that sounds like you're having multiple medical issues throughout the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. That probably
Ambulance in the background.
there is.
Like, so I'm a little concerned about that.
But yeah.
Oh man. Okay. We're not going to cut that clip. That's not something we're going to. Let's see here. We have a question for you that has come in, and it's from Josh. Mailbag question for Taylor. Would you take one right now? Is that
Yeah,
okay?
absolutely.
If it were possible and socially acceptable for women to have beards, would you grow one?
No. I barely brush my hair before I come to work. There's no way that I could deal with that.
Yeah. I don't think that many women would opt for the beard.
I don't think so either.
No. I'm a grizzly man and I don't want the beard. It's really I've got to make a tough decision. I'm either going full mall Santa or I'm getting rid of it, and I can't tell which one I'm going with.
Well, I think you need to see if what opportunities are available.
Tyler, would you be willing to dress as my lead elf? Because I feel like we could make a killing. Like me and
I
you
think we
doing
could.
photo sessions out in the park.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not kidding.
I'm
I
not
think
kidding
me and you
either.
could crush it. Do you have like an elf voice that you can do? Like a high pitch sort of like,
I can work on it.
can we hear what you got right now?
Uh, I
He's
don't
so,
know what
he doesn't want to do this so bad.
I don't know what does an elf sound like.
Santa's coming around the corner, kids. That sort of thing. It's like you make cookies within a tree. What would you sound like?
I'm making cookies in a tree.
That
That's
works.
perfect.
That's a great elf thing.
Yeah, y'all are set.
I think we just made a whole bunch of money, Tyler. So be ready to be stacking those Benjamins. If you want to be stacking some Benjamins of yourself, mybookie.ag, where you can play anything, anywhere, anytime at mybookie.ag. Make sure you use promo code next round for that first time deposit bonus. You're going to be thanking us very much for that. Your stocking will be stuffed by mybookie.ag. Taylor, thank you so much for stopping by. We got to get you out to Culver's, where they have a lot of sweet
Yes.
treats. some of the best custard you'll ever have. I promise you that. And we appreciate you making time for us here on Meltdown 2.0.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. I hope it's not your last time. I hope you'll be
No.
back with us.
Hey, I'm here whenever you'll need me.
I have so many more questions. Tyler, I believe you have to get to the movies for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, I've got a movie later tonight. Possibly movies. I'm not sure, but I've got a lot of them this weekend, and they will all be on our shorts page. So make sure you click that little bell icon, have your alerts set so you don't miss any of it.
Absolutely. One thing that really helps us, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Make sure that you are subscribed if you're not already. And you know what we'd really like? Leave a comment. If you're watching this, maybe after the live show, leave a comment in there. We will respond to every single one of them. And we appreciate your support here
And
of the Meltdown.
share the video. Share it with your friends, your family, people
Yes.
you like, and people you hate, but just share it with people. It helps the show.
Absolutely. We sort of cut the ribbon this week emotionally on another chapter of the Meltdown.
Yeah, it's going to
And
be awesome.
I'm really thrilled to be back and thrilled to be with all of you every single day live, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. We will see you again all weekend long, but also live on Monday.